Are you personally a big science fiction fan?
Well, I'm a patent attorney. As a profession, I am a lawyer. I've been a patent attorney, an intellectual property attorney, and a space lawyer for the past 35 years. I do read science fiction, and I was Robert Heinlein's attorney. So I'm now his literary executor, and of course I've read all of his books, and I do like science fiction. I think we need to take and use them as inspiration, just like maybe a couple of centuries ago you might have been reading about sailing to the South Pacific and getting spices and bringing them back to sell them in Europe. Well, let's think the same way about space. And science fiction allows you to keep your sense of wonder.
What excites you about what you see happening in the field right now?
Well, the Space Frontier Foundation is working to bring together so-called NewSpace entrepreneurs. These are people who want to change the way the world goes into space, to make it more affordable, to make it more useful for all of humanity. We all live in one rather small place called the Earth. There are a lot of us, and we have to divide up the resources of this small place. And probably we should think about getting more resources from other places. That's what NewSpace is about. It's not just about going into space for some science fiction-y purpose. It's to take and put meat on the table and to put money in your pocket. It's the next frontier, a new continent that we don't live on yet. So I look forward to the Space Frontiers Foundation's continuing to encourage people to look at new ways to get into space and to make the resources of space available.
What are you most looking forward to seeing during this conference, or what have you seen so far that
It's wonderful to see so many people thinking about new and different ways to go into space, to take and do business there, to do cultural things in space. For example, there are people who are now thinking about how do you do dancing in space? How do you do modern dance in zero gravity? Does anybody think that we won't have the World Cup of soccer someday in orbit? I mean, can you imagine what it'll be like when you can go in 3 dimensions instead of just 2? It's going to open up this whole new dimension of human endeavor, and it's going to be exciting and interesting. The trillionaires of the next generation will be made in space, and I think we all have an exciting time to look forward to.
Is there anything else that you would like to say for the record?
Nobody asked me that question, so that's an unusual one. The most difficult question that's currently facing space entrepreneurship and exploration is who owns the material in space. The power, the electric power, the position from which we broadcast communications, the asteroids and comets that contain trillions of dollars worth of wealth. No one knows who owns them yet. And that's the biggest question that's facing us in putting together some kind of a plan to develop these resources for the benefit of humanity. Back in 1993, in December of 1993, I held an auction at Sotheby's in New York. One of my clients, the Levuchkin Association of Hemke, Russia, had agreed to let me sell the Lunahod, which was the Soviet lunar rover, Lunahod 2. And Richard Garriott bought the Lunahod 2. Now, this is the first sale of a man-made object on another celestial body. It was the very first one. And he is now the owner of this. When we sold it at auction, we very carefully said that removal and delivery was at the expense of the buyer. And I understand that Richard is now trying to figure out how to get to the moon to get his Lunahod lunar rover. We wish him good luck at this, and of course we'll be happy to assist if he has the money to pay for it.